Whether you're on the right or the left politically, we can all agree scenes like these are heartbreaking. Here's a question: could we end the border crisis before it gets to the border? If the U.S. spent more money to make life safer and create more jobs in Central America, would fewer people seek asylum here? Is this a good immigration strategy? That's for you to decide. But here's where everyone agrees. It's a mess down there. Let me explain. In March of this year, U.S. Border Patrol reported 570,000 migrants showing up at our southern border. President Joe Biden is proposing a 4-year, $4 billion fix. Vice President Kamala Harris is in charge of the plan. In an interview on CNN's State of the Union, Harris said the U.S. aims to address the root of the problem, issues in the countries themselves.
We have to give people some sense of hope that if they stay, that help is on the way.
Many on the right aren't buying it. Here's a tweet by Republican House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy reacting to a report that some of the money might be direct cash transfers to countries. McCarthy said it insults millions of Americans who are out of work in our country. And Republican Representative Steve Scalise called it madness. To be fair, we spend a lot of money on immigration. Since 2003, the U.S. spent $333 billion on Border Patrol and security. In that time, the number of Border Patrol agents doubled and ICE agents tripled. And the U.S. built 700 miles of fencing on the southern border. Still, more than 2.3 million migrants showed up at the border between 2017 and 2020. Most of them women and children, and most from 3 Central American countries known as the Northern Triangle: Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador. All 3 countries struggle with severe poverty, widespread violent crime, and mass corruption, which is why they say they risk life and limb to come to America.
Nosotros no venimos aquí porque nos dio la resanta gana, no, venimos porque tenemos necesidad, dejamos familia.
Presidents George W. Bush, Barack Obama, and now President Joe Biden have all looked at solutions to fix the countries themselves. Earlier this year, George W. Bush sat down with Norah O'Donnell on CBS Sunday Morning to discuss immigration reform and where he fell short as president.
America can be a lawful society and a welcoming society.
It's been 15 years.
I know it.
Still, nothing's been done.
No, a lot of executive orders, but all that means is that Congress isn't doing its job.
Is it one of the biggest disappointments of your presidency?
Yes, it really is.
And while President Bush wasn't able to make headway, in 2014, President Obama and Congress increased the yearly aid to Central America of $305 million to $3.6 billion over 7 years. The money focused on 3 areas: good governance, in other words, decreasing government corruption, promoting economic growth and social welfare, and security, fighting crime, gangs, and supporting justice reforms. Did it work? Well, according to the Government Accountability Office, we really don't know. What we do know is that gross domestic product increased by 9% in those countries, and murder rates and corruption fell. Critics say that sounds great, but it isn't clear how many jobs were actually created. And the downside, extortion, kidnapping, and the number of women being murdered increased. So back to the original question: can President Biden's Buy Our Way Out plan work? Ricardo Zuniga, recently named as special envoy to the Northern Triangle, thinks so. In an extensive report for the nonpartisan Wilson Center, Zuniga says President Biden's plan can only work if the following areas are targeted, and targeted the right way. First, the U.S. must use pressure to force government transparency and end corruption. Next, end endemic crime and violence against women through special programs and policing. And Congress needs to stop fighting and create a bipartisan agreement that lasts no matter who's president. Will it work? We won't know for years, but President Biden's betting if we make things better down there, fewer migrants will come here. Let me know your thoughts about the border crisis and make sure to rate my report using our bias meter.